Morning. Everyone, you've reached Reflecting Back with Michelle podcast, and I interview small business owners to provide a platform to share their story to hope encourage other people to follow their passion. And I have the privilege to interview Brenda and Ken, and they own Lighthouse Photography, and it's in the Branson, Springfield, Nixa area type place. So, introduce yourself. Brenda, you want to start?
I'm Brenda Stanford. I'm wife to Ken. We've been married 12 years and had the business now for 9.
9 years. Okay.
9.
Ken?
Well, I'm Ken Stanford. I do. I guess I do most of the. I did most of the photography, most of the editing. Brenda's always been our marketing and scheduling, and she's the one that sends out the invoices. So we kind of.
Gotcha.
We both do our share of the business. So yeah.
Nice. Well, speaking of the business, now, were you always entrepreneurs? Did you
No.
always have an entrepreneur spirit?
No.
So
In fact,
what got you in?
Well, I actually tried a couple things earlier in my life, and it had come to my attention that I probably couldn't sell a drowning man a life jacket, and he probably wouldn't take it out for a test drive. And so then we got when this opportunity came around, we got into it, and we did things a lot different than I tried in the past. We learned how to network. We learned how to market ourselves and how to just get out and beat the streets, if you will, to drum up clients. And once we got clients going, and the clients like what we saw, our business took off, and we gave it over to God. We give God all the credit for this. We found that if things seem to be slowing down, we get back in the Word with Him and prayer with Him, and business just picks right back up. So it's clear to us where this business comes from, and we give.
What was it? I've never heard that. You can sell a life jacket to a drowning man. Is that what you said?
Yeah, he wouldn't even take it for a test drive from me. So that's how that.
That is awesome. I've never heard that before. I'll have to. Can I steal that from you?
Oh, you take it wherever you want.
That's great. So let's talk about your career before you got into photography, and then we'll jump into your business. What did you do before?
Before I was in industrial maintenance and plant electrician for a couple different factories in the Springfield area for about 30 years. And the last factory that I was in, we made fan belts for companies like John Deere. And they made it from core materials all the way up. So I was dealing around with carbon black a lot. So some nights I'd come home and all you could see were the whites of my eyes, and that was not going over well with Brenda. And she said we got to figure out a way to get you out of that. And so here we are.
Nice. And how did you get into photography?
Well, when I was in the military, I used to do a lot of, as a hobby, I would go around and I did a lot of black and white back then because I was in Germany, and black and white and castles just look good together. And but when I got out of the Army and waited patiently for my box of stuff to show up, well, box showed up, but none of the pictures showed up with it. So it kind of set a bad tone with me on it, and I just kind of left it alone for a while. After we got married, Brenda got me a DSLR camera one time, and I kind of got back into the swing of things, and then again, here we are again now. So
yeah, where did your business name come from?
Well, we wanted to be the since we know God is over all of this, we wanted to be the light in the community. And so the only thing I could that just kind of like came to me at that point was Lighthouse.
That's
You know,
beautiful. Hmm.
and that's why I was like, and it's just, we've thought about at times just kind of changing it some, and people said, no, you're Lighthouse. This is who you are,
Yeah. Right.
and so we enjoy our work. We get to meet a lot of different people. We get to a lot of actually our clients, the homeowners or something like that. You can tell they have a lot of, I guess, some form of a Christian base too. So we don't have a problem in discussing our faith with them and stuff, because it'll be all on the walls, or they'll have their
Sure.
Bibles out and stuff like that. And so they ask us about what our faith is, and so we don't have, because of the kind of work we do, we don't have an issue in discussing our faith with people. I know some people do at work; they're unable to and whatever. But our work is totally different than most people's.
No. Sure. Now, you were at a corporate job, and then you're like, okay, you need to have a career shift. So how did you leave a corporate job? I'm sure that, well, I guess I'm just assuming that it was decent pay, to like, I'm quitting and we're going to go to trust God. So how did you make that transition and that decision?
Well, it took a little bit of time. I had to make sure I was ready with my craft, and I knew that, you spend what you make. And so when you're kind of in that, I mean, I was, at the time I was making $26 an hour, working 48 hours or more a week. So we had good money coming in, and we decided to go full time with this. Well, we started out part time because I only worked usually 4 to 5 days a week, so I usually had at least 3 or 4 days off, because it was be 4 on, 4 off, that kind of thing. And on those days off is when we would do work the business. And so so then it got to a point where I finally said, the business has grown enough that I can walk away from this other job. We sold our home and actually bought a bigger home. We thought we were going to downsize, but that didn't happen. But within 2 or 3 months of going full time, I'd replaced the salary that I was doing. Took me 30 years to build, and
Wow.
2 weeks or 2 months we'd replace that. So there again, we give all that to God, because we believe this is where He wanted us to go. And he showed us that when we let go of the things that was holding us back, we let go of that, and we never really skipped a day or skipped a beat on it.
Wow.
Our bills stayed paid, and we stayed busy, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
And this
So
has
if
grown
someone was
ever.
wanting to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I just said, and this just grown ever since.
Right.
The business.
Well, tell me about the growth, because starting a small business is, it's hard in itself. Did you go to networking groups? Like, if someone's interested in starting this, any business, what would be the steps? Like, what made you guys successful?
Well, you do need to get into some sort of networking group, because it's easier to get your name out, because you've got everybody else in that group helping get your name out. You're referring yourself to, they're referring you out, you're referring them out, and then along the way you meet people that you wouldn't normally have met, that can steer you into directions that make your business grow. So for instance, we had a lady that we were networking with, she got us into the Branson Home Show one year, and so we set up in that. And in that, we picked up a lady that saw our work and told us that we had a good eye, but we weren't there yet. And a year later, we ran into someone at her company, and they got our name back to him. And she remembered us from the year before that, and said, "We're ready So we came in, and when we left there, we pretty much had picked up that whole office, and from there, we learned how to basically go into a real estate office, and we found if you bring food, they will come, and so we
Sure.
would bring food, and they would come, and we would pick up 2 or 3 clients from them, and then sometimes we'd pick up the whole office, and then they would refer
What were
out.
some kind of suggestions? So I feel what you're saying when they said you're not quite there yet. And tell me a little bit about the disappointment inside that, because like I'm starting this type of business, right? And and you get really excited, and you're wanting clients, and you're wanting to interview, and then when you get feedback or coaching or whatever, it kind of like burst your bubble or that type of thing, but then you take it and you grow with it and you change and you adapt. And so tell us a little bit about how you were feeling when that person said you're not quite there yet.
Well, the thing about how she said that, she didn't just say, you're not good enough and left it at that. She said, our realtors are looking for these things. And she gave me a list of what realtors are looking for. I said, great. So I went back, and for that next year, I worked on those things. I went on YouTube, or I picked up some classes on those things or whatever, and worked that craft until I got it to a point where she was happy with it. And she got us in there, and like I said, that whole office picked us up. And they're pretty well-known office down in the Branson area, so they weren't like a little mom and pop shop or just 2 or 3. They had 10, 12 realtors in there, and she had told us then, had she brought us in then, they probably would have not used this because it wasn't what the quality they were looking for yet. And so if they don't like you, chances are they'll never try you again. So she waited to get us in there when we were ready, and I mean they hit on us quick. As soon as we got in there, the phones were started ringing. So
that's great. And what type of service do you provide?
Okay, so for real estate photography, we do pretty much anything a realtor would need to market their homes through photos or video, because we do the photos, we do drone photos, we do videos, we do the 3D, we call it Matterport, because that's the company that we go through, where they do the 3D tours through the homes. And we've also added recently virtual staging. So just about anything, I mean, outside of getting their photos posted online, because we don't have access to the MLS listings that they do. That's up to them. As far as getting them all that data that they need for that, that's pretty much what we do. We're a one-stop shop, if you want to call it that.
And that's how we look at it, and we try to let our realtors know that anything that they could possibly think of to market, we'll do. I mean, we've got that point that we do anything. Any.
When you're talking about virtual, what does staging look like? Walk me through a process.
Well, the virtual tour, which is basically we have a specific camera for that you place every 4 or 5 feet throughout the house, and it rotates, and it basically takes this 360 image all over the house, and then it puts those together so that the client, when they go to that link, they can literally walk through the house, and it's not just clicking and then you spin around and click, you spin. It actually looks like you're walking through the house, and they have a sense of not just how the place looks, but how it's laid out, and how the spacing feels. It's with photos, it's a static view. You look, you say, okay, here's a living room. I got a couch over here. I got a couch over here. But if I want to look back over here, I got to click on another photo to look back that way. And so it came in real handy for when COVID hit, because a lot of people didn't want strangers coming into their homes, and people didn't want to go into strangers' homes. They felt safer being able to view the home and get a sense for how the home is set up from their phone or from their computer or whatever.
That makes sense. When my husband and I were looking at moving in the area, I had to drive 3 hours to look at homes and everything, and the pictures, as you were mentioning, were I don't know if they were edited to where they made them look good, but by the time I got in there, I was like, oh heavens, this is not working. So I totally see the virtual images, and I see where that's a benefit. Where someone myself, if I'm moving into the area, I could totally see, yeah, I want to look at that because you see the virtual image versus just shot. So I get that.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
then we do the virtual
Now,
staging.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, which is for a vacant home. Okay, because some people have a difficult time when they see an empty room. They don't. It's hard to tell. Okay, where's my sofa? Where would my sofa go? Whatever. Okay, just by seeing a picture of it, it's hard to see the size of it. So we do the virtual staging where we have basically like a catalog, and we can put through online. We can put furniture in those rooms. Okay, just
How
virtually,
neat.
so that when they
Okay.
so that when they see it, they'll see, oh, okay, I can see how my bed can fit here. I can see how my sofa can go here. I mean, they're always, change it and stuff, but they can actually see more of the size and see how it looks. Homes always look so much better when there's furniture in it as compared to where it's completely empty, because people just
So you create virtual, you design it and create it and saying, I think that this type of couch would look good, and then you place it in the virtual setting.
Yes.
That is super cool.
Yeah, and we've just started that recently. We can also start. A client had asked us for it, so we started looking into it a little bit more, and then like through the virtual tour, the company that we use, they can make floor plans. Okay, for like architects and stuff. Okay, so they can make floor plans. But we've had developers, the building developers and stuff, want us to make a floor plan, and then from that we make it a 3D floor plan, and he's able to put like the furniture inside the 3D floor plan, so that as somebody is looking through the floor plan of how a home is, they can see.
Neat.
So all this part we've just started with this past year, that part of it.
Yeah. Oh, I can see how that's a huge benefit.
Yeah.
As your dog's photobombing us in the background.
Oh,
your dog wants attention. He's just over there playing and jumping and what's the name?
They go lay on their pillow and they're like, "Oh, we're getting on TV here."
He's just jumping and having a good old time. That's so great. I love it. Look, it's so funny. And you can just see them right in between your chairs. I mean, they're just playing right there and jumping, and it's so cute. Yeah, they're like, I want my fame too.
Yeah,
that's funny. So, talk to us about working together, because that is something that, I'm about 10, 12 years away from retirement. And that's just going to be a phase in life that my husband and I are going to be around each other 24/7, 7 days a week. And I kind of like my space right now. So how are you guys doing it?
Well, I actually even had friends ask me when we went full time, so you're going to be around your husband all the time? I'd like, well, yeah, I looked at it as like, I married him because I love him. And it's like, so why wouldn't I want to be around him? And
you
so
can love him at a distance.
for the first probably 5 years of the business, I mean, we were in the vehicle and doing everything together. Okay. He would be shooting the photos, and the drone or whatever. He would be doing that part, and I was going in and help getting the inside of the home ready. Okay. If the homeowners had not tidied up enough, okay, because sometimes when you live there, you don't notice it. Okay.
Sure.
Because you live with it every day. Okay. So the dog food bowls would be out, or the cat stuff, or, just your remotes and just things clutter, because that's just the way you live. And so I would come in because we want a home to be basically generic. Okay. I try to get them to take down their personal pictures. We don't want to show, especially children and babies, online. Okay. And so I would get them to try to, I need you to remove your personal pictures out. Well, why? And it's like, well, do you want your child, their face online? They said, well, what do you mean to be online? I said, well, not everybody on the MLS is looking for homes, because they have your address, they have your school district, and now they got your child.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awful. Oh, wow.
Right. So
sure.
So it was always for safety, and we try not to make anybody a target, nowadays.
Right. You never know.
Right. And when somebody has like a gun safe, okay, in their home, okay, we
keep it out.
We keep it out of the photo. We usually stand in front of it and shoot the rest of the room, or angle a different way. So that is not, because that again makes that home more of a target. Okay. So
that's smart.
Yeah. So we try to do that. And that's what I would come in ahead of time and do. And then we got so busy, Ken couldn't keep up with it all, because he'd be up sometimes till 4 o'clock in the morning editing. Okay. And then have to get back up at 6. And I would actually wake up. His head would be falling asleep on the desk. I would wake him up to tell him to come to bed. And he'd be up again at like 6:30, and then for the day to start again. And so I would drive while he would try to cat nap. Okay.
Wow.
So we got so busy, by the grace of God, that he said, we're going to have to hire somebody. I said, no, you just teach me, so he did. And now I don't do the drone. He's got the license for it, commercial license. So he does all the drone. I don't do the video because the camera's way too heavy for me. But I do the photos. And so sometimes.
And photos are important. I mean, that's what attracts the consumer.
Right. And so sometimes we'll have a full schedule where he'll be doing so many, I'll be doing so many, but they'll all have drones. So what he'll end up doing is he'll get his done, and then as he's working his schedule, he just swings by my address and just flies the drone, takes the pictures, and moves on, because I've already done the photos. So we've had to do that, and I just tell him that, okay, I'll be here at such and such time, but Ken will have to swing by sometime during the day. Nobody has to be home, whatever, and he'll do the drone then. And they realize that he can't do it all. When you have 5 to 8 sometimes a day, he can't do them all. So
yeah, sure, definitely.
Answer your question. The way we are able to be with each other 24/7 is when you have like goals. Our goal is to make our business succeed. Our goal is to keep our bills paid. Our goal is to, be able to do the things we want to do together. and we have a common interest in that, and we have a common goal in that, the idea of just being stuck with each other all day long doesn't really come into
That's great.
your mind.
Yeah.
You know, we're not only are we married, but we're co-workers, we're teammates, you know, we're all those things. And you don't get bored being around each other when you have all these common goals and interests together like that. So even when we go on vacations, you know, we go do things that we both are going to like doing. So, other than
That's
driving,
good.
driving to Colorado, but hey, it gets us there. So.
Well, we have a few minutes left. How can they find you? If they need photography, or do you help with Airbnbs?
Yes.
Yes. So we do nightly rentals,
Okay.
and we do photos. A lot of those that go on Airbnb or Vrbo. Some of them are property managers that have their own websites, and so they put them on there. But yeah, if they want to get a hold of us, you can find us at lrphotomo, as in Missouri.com. We're also on Facebook, Lighthouse Reflections Photography. You can also Google searches. We've got a Google page set up there with reviews and whatever, and people getting a hold of us like that. Also, if people know of us and somebody comes across to them and says, "Hey, I need who does photos," give them our name. That's how a lot of our business growth has come, is from word of mouth.
Yep.
We don't
Perfect.
do.
Perfect.
In fact, probably the closest thing to advertising outside of Facebook that we've really ever done. So.
Nice. And I do have to say that just for legality purposes, that this is a free platform to small business owners to promote their business. So there isn't any monetary gain or anything from that. So that's something that I have to verbally say. And then last but not least, I always like to provide words of wisdom to whoever is listening. So if you guys can, each of you provide some kind of words of wisdom.
Well, if you have a dream, okay, and follow your heart with that part, but if you place God first and make Him top priority, everything else falls into place.
That's good.
That's just the way we've looked at it. He is our provider. If it wasn't for Him, we wouldn't be here today like this.
That's great.
And
Good
he's
advice.
our put over 100,000 miles on our cars, and we've never been in an accident of any kind. So we always think of protection that He gives us, His provisions that He gives us, and just the blessing that He gives us, just our blessing business. But I said before, to know your craft, but also always stay up to date on your craft. There's always new things going on in technology and in your field of whatever business you get in. So always stay up to date on that, and don't be afraid to knock on some doors or introduce yourself. You never know who you're going to run into.
And take
That's
constructive criticism constructively.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Love it.
I mean, you don't have an eye. You got the eye, but you're not there yet. I could have just took that and went back to factory work, but here we are. So.
You evolved, and here you are. Well, thank you so much for coming on Reflecting Back with Michelle podcast. It was a joy interviewing you and getting to meet you. I appreciate everything. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Michelle.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.